2021. Time for the news in the English language over Camdis television. We begin right away with our headlines. The June 2021 special parliamentary session has ended with 7 laws examined and adopted. The closing ceremony was chaired by the House Speaker, Honorable Kavaye Jibri, at the Yaoundé Conference Hall, during which he gave a summary of all that was discussed during the past 30 days. John Frundi is 8 years old today. July 7, 2021, the chairman of the Social Democratic Party, born on July 7, 1941, clocks 80 this day. The Yaoundé International Agro-Business Exhibition has been officially declared open this 7th July 2021. The exhibition was officially declared open by the Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Gabriel Ndoke, Special Representative of the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. John Gutte. This and more in some seconds to come. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the 6 p.m. Prime News over Camdis television. We'll move right away with something very interesting. The House Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Kavaye Jibri, has chaired the closing session of the June parliamentary session that took place this day at the Yaoundé Conference Center. In his closing speech, the House Speaker gave a brief summary of the 7 laws that were being examined and adopted. Let's listen in the following report. Members of the Constitutional Council, government officials, ambassadors, representatives of international organizations and civil societies were all present during the closing ceremony of the second ordinary session of the Lower House of Assembly for the year 2021. The session that lasted for 30 days was pregnant with serious works and consultations. Presided by the House Speaker, Honorable Kavaye Jibri, in his closing speech this July 7, 2021 at the Yaoundé Conference Center, acknowledged that works carried out by elected members for the past 30 days, during which 7 laws projects were examined and adopted. Series of special plenary sessions were also organized on themes of special interest and benefits to the national territory. The House Speaker called on all members to implement decisions arrived at. Honorable Kavaye Jibri acknowledged the fact that this was a period for deputies and representatives of finance to reunite and debate on budgetary orientations and propose solutions in regard to allocated budget for them by the states. Reinforcing technical training in the communication network so as to elevate the quality of services offered was not left out. And campaigns have been intensified throughout the national territory in different vaccination centers. A reminder for Cameroonians to be conscious, patriotic and responsible in taking the COVID-19 vaccines in strict respect of the different barrier measures. Very important, those eligible to take these vaccines are those from 18 years upwards. The House Speaker in his speech also made mention of the upcoming Cantota Energies competition that will last from January 9, 2022 to February 6, 2022. He emphasized that His Excellency President Paul Biya calls on all to make this game a beautiful one. The Honorable and House Speaker warns and calls on silence when it comes to social media intoxication, more especially in the football milieu, where queries and prides are very common. Concerning delayed infrastructures, the Honorable Kavaye Jibril sends a warning message to enterprises who've won these contracts to multiply effort to complete works on time, without which the government will have to sanction very hard. The Honorable Kavaye Jibril, House Speaker of the National Assembly, concluded by calling on all Cameroonians to receive their COVID-19 vaccines and to be ambassadors of the Cantota Energies. Another rendezvous for the 3rd ordinary session of the National Assembly next year, 2022. The 48th Administrative Council session of Midima has held to evaluate the implantation of some public taps in the extreme north of the country. This in a bid to make available potable drinking water to the inhabitants of that part of the country where potable water has been a nightmare to them. Let's have details in the following report. Developing the extreme north region of Cameroon and its growth has been preoccupied. In La Midima, a mission to reintegrate the Mount Mandara. Objective of this 48th Administrative Council session of Midima to evaluate the implantation of some public taps.
We actually have about 8 barricades and will soon start realizing these projects. There are also about 15 bends under construction plus other public taps. They will be electrified to facilitate water distribution in the Fadere locality. This will continue with the addition of water in Mayokani in the Mokolo community.
The realization of these water projects falls timely at a time when the population are in dire need of potable drinking water in that part of the country. This will certainly put smiles on the faces of this population and make this a dream come true despite the enormous challenges.
The challenges are clear and cannot be ignored by anyone, especially in the extreme north of Cameroon when it comes to hydraulics electrification. We are mounting projects, some are already mature, though we are still searching for financial partners.
Amongst other localities shortlisted, the Fadere in Mayokani and Mokolo community needs urgent intervention as the need for potable drinking water is as scarce as gold. The authorities are directly involved are soliciting the financial support of national and international partners without distinctions to make this project a reality. 7th July 1941 to 7th July 2021, Nijon Frundi is 80 years old today. From a bookshop owner to a politician, Tabby Clarkson, our reporter, paints a picture of a man whose political image cannot be forgotten in the political evolution of Cameroon. His report.
Nijon Frundi was born in Babatu, near Bamenda, in the northwest region of Cameroon on July 7, 1941. 1941, 2021 today marks or makes him 80 years, of which he spent over 30 years in doing politics. Nijon Frundi, a former CPT militant, created the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF, on the 26th of May, 1990, a political party which undoubtedly became the #1 opposition party in this country, following results obtained in presidential, legislative, or again municipal elections. His performance, that of Nijon Frundi in 1992 presidential election, will always remain in the annals of Cameroon politics as being one of the best results an opposition party has ever recorded in an election in this country. He had 36% of the votes, with the governing CPTM party of President Paul Biya as candidate scoring 39% of the votes. Nijon Frundi, after results proclaimed by the Supreme Court, felt cheated and he was placed under house arrest for a month to avoid a potential mass protest. In 1997, he boycotted the presidential election. In October 2004, he went for the presidential election and came out second with 17.4% of the votes against 17.92% for President Paul Biya. In 2007, the SDF, under the leadership of Frundi, came out second in the parliamentary election. In 2007, the SDF, under the leadership.
Okay, you're welcome back. Under the patronage of the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. John Gute, the Yaoundé International Agro-Business Exhibition has officially been opened this day. The ceremony was opened by the Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Gabriel Ndodo Ndoke, special representative of the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. John Gute. Our reporter Youth Fonyong was present during the opening ceremony and brought back this report.
7th edition of the Yaoundé International Agribusiness Exhibition, CIALI, officially declared open by the representative of the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gouté. The ceremony, which took place at the esplanade of the National Museum, has as theme Agriculture and Agribusiness, Stakes and Challenges of the African Free Exchange.
We are trying to transform products, but made in Cameroon, we cannot say Cameroonians consume their products. The President of the Republic says we should try to train our producers to package their products well. This year, we have put an accent on machines. We will discover why visiting stands, machines for cracking of egusi, groundnut, machines that plant and crush corn. Visit the stands because it is a special CIALI with equipment to boost our agriculture.
The event was characterized by the cutting of the ribbon and speeches from different stakeholders who appreciated the promoter of CIALI for her innovative ideas.
What is the government doing to promote the industrialization in our country? As you can know, our country has a industrial master plan that is at this moment being built, and in this industrial master plan we have a number of actions that we will have to put on place in order to make our agriculturers be able to make the value of the product be grown by the transformation and by the amelioration, the enhancing of the quality of these products. It's the key of making our industry to face the concurrence coming from abroad.
The door of CIALI is therefore open for both international and national visitors who will not help but enjoy the atmosphere at the esplanade of the museum.
Coffin production seems to be a very interesting profession, although almost going unnoticed as so many people are scared of that profession. Our reporter Stephen Elangwe visited Allengagedcitizens, a neighborhood in Yaoundé where coffin producers are based. Let's follow Stephen Elangwe to discover more in the following report.
They have been here at Allengagedcitizens neighborhood in Yaoundé for more than decades now in this daily activity, which demands not just artistic know-how, but a know-how in carpentry. Coffin fabrication is a source of livelihood for them.
We at least try and see what we can gain during the day, just to manage to see how we can live. So it's just to earn a living. So no matter things are hard, but we push it.
Though sometimes they fabricate according to demand, the prices of these coffins vary depending on the customer in question.
Sell according to the people that comes. So we don't have a fixed price here. So somebody can come, we can give him a price. Even we can sell, even we see that this coffin we can sell it for 10,000. If we say 1 million and he fell, we'll just give him for the price. So you don't have a fixed price.
There is also a big difference in the woods used to fabricate the coffins.
So many kind of wood for bush, but the wood we deal mostly with them now. We get sapele, we get bibinga, we get iroko, and
as a manual labor, 15 to 20 of them can be seen, either plying wood or spraying these already fabricated coffins. Their sales also depends much on the rate of death in the society.
So there are some months that we can really sell, and there are some months that things are really bad. Like you see how people just came, how you see. So there are some times people you can come here and you will not see even one. That means at that time it's really.
No work is little work, as Martin Luther King underlined that any work which uplifts humanity should be taken with painstaking excellence. These coffin fabricators and sellers therefore not only render service to their community but also earn a living.
Financing the structural infrastructures in Cameroon has been the focal point of discussion during an audience that was being granted by the Minister of State Property, Surveys and Land Tenure, Eyebe Ayisi, with the Director General of the African Development Bank, Serge Ngesa. Let's have details in the following report. The Minister of State Property, Surveys and Land Tenure, Eyebe Ayisi, has granted audience to the Director General of the Central African Development Bank. Financing structural infrastructures in Cameroon was at the center of their discussions in strict respect of the law.
The African Development Bank has focused its cooperation with the Cameroonian government on financing structural infrastructures, the road, the dams, the power lines, and all this needs land to be implemented. If you don't master the process to acquire those land, you're not going to be able to implement those projects. So we want to make sure that we are online. We are going to use the bylaws of the country.
Modernizing the maps will go a long way to help Cameroonians to quickly acquire land titles.
We have a double structure to have immatriculation. We have the direct immatriculation, but we also those direct immatriculation are based on the laws of 74. But we also have the law of 76, which permits the common Cameroonian to have land titles. So such project can help the citizen to have, as fast as possible, different land titles.
The Minister of State Property, Surveys and Land Tenure, Eyebe Ayisi, congratulated the new director of the African Development Bank for his new post and his joy to the powerful delegation for collaborating with Cameroon. There are hopes that with this union, Cameroon will benefit a lot and realize greater projects in 5 years to come. Have you ever asked yourself what has the law to say concerning the publication of sex tapes and obscene videos that have been circulating throughout the social medias? It is a period where sex tape and obscene videos and pictures have become so rampant over our social media. Our reporter Stephen Elangwe caught up with a lawyer in a bid to find out what the law has to say concerning those who go ahead to publish these sex tapes over the social media. Let's listen to him in the following report.
Three articles in the Penal Code of Cameroon speak harshly and totally condemn this phenomenon of sex tape that is gaining grounds today in the society. In his explanation to these articles, lawyer Hippolyte Tiakwang made it clear that the obscene videos and their publications implicate those that produce, import, export, expose and distribute these videos, whether for commercial or non-commercial purposes. Therefore, on the string of these sex tapes, no one involved is left out of the punishment. Sex tapes by the law of Cameroon are contrary to societal good, and the punishment is tantamount to even years of imprisonment. The physical integrity and intimacy of a person is a humanly inalienable right of every citizen, which even the state cannot violate, he said. Section 263 on public decency reads, "Whoever publicly offends against decency shall be punished with imprisonment from 15 days to 2 years, with fine from 10,000 francs to 100,000 francs CFA, or with both imprisonment and fine." Section 264, corruption of moral, further explains the former section. Obscene publication is a focal point of Section 265 of the Penal Code of Cameroon, where publishers of sex tapes and obscene videos will answer 1 month to 2 years imprisonment and 10,000 francs to 500,000 francs as fine, where he that produces, keeps, imports, transports, exports, exposes or distributes such for public consumption falls under the wrath of the law. Well, Anumeko, I think you've heard it clearly. The Cameroonian law definitely and the penal code of our country condemns sex tape and other pornographic or obscene videos. Therefore, it is not a practice to be encouraged in our society. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Stephen. It's quite unfortunate that our society has become something else. We move over to Garoua, where 3 people have died and schools destroyed after a storm tornado caused that it occurred on Monday night, breaking Tuesday. This also interrupted the ongoing GCE that has been going on in that part of the country. Once more with Stephen Elangwe.
The destruction stems from a mighty tornado that blew through Garoua on the night of June 5, breaking June 6, 2021.
This morning, I saw the disaster caused by the rains which occurred at night. The walls collapsed, trees fell and pushed down the walls. It was very difficult for us to start in the morning. They had to clear off the sticks before students could get into the halls for the exams.
Enormous human and material loss were registered, plus examination centers which were affected by the storm. Sadly, 3 people have so far been reported dead as a result of the storm.
There's a serious insecurity at the east end of the school as we speak. So we are hoping that all dispensations should be put in place to ensure that invaders should not come in, given that GC is ongoing to the 12th. In any way, but we just pray that they should reinforce the area, because we don't know what can happen at night. Yeah, so that is the measure of fear we have. And our wish is that maybe they do some temporary protection to avoid trespassing, especially when exams are going on.
With the coming of the rainy season, several environmental hazards have taken a rise in the community. The authorities therefore took out time to extend comfort to the affected families.
We now take you out of the country, where the Haiti president, Jovenel Moïse, has been assassinated by unidentified men of the underworld. His murder comes during a period of political instability in that part of the country. Geraldine Nasir tells us more in the following report.
A High Court challenge is set to rule on whether the late Zambian President Kenneth Kaunda's burial at the government's Embassy Park site will stop. Kaunda ruled Zambia from 1964, when the Southern African nation won its independence from Britain, until his defeat in an election in 1991. He died on 17 June 2021 in a military hospital in Lusaka. Kaunda's son, Keweche, on Tuesday challenged in court the government's plan to bury his father's remains at a presidential burial site, saying it was the African statesman's wish. He added that his father's last wish was to be buried at his residence next to his wife, Betty, who died more than 10 years ago. Haitian President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated after a group of unidentified people attacked his private residence. The country's interim prime minister announced this Wednesday, calling it a hateful, inhuman and barbaric act. The First Lady Martine Moïse was hospitalized following the overnight attack. The country was already in a precarious political situation before the assassination, having grown increasingly unstable and disgruntled under the regime of Moïse. The president ruled by decree for more than 2 years after the country failed to hold elections, and the opposition demanded he step down in recent months. The country's situation is now left under the control of the National Police of Haiti and the Armed Forces of Haiti.
Dear televiewers who've come to the end of our English Prime News over Camden's television, here are the headlines. The June 2021 special parliamentary session has ended with 7 laws examined and adopted. The closing ceremony was chaired by the House Speaker, Honorable Kavayeyike Jibril, at the Yaoundé Conference Hall, during which he gave a summary of all that was discussed during the past 30 days. Nijon Frundi is 80 years old today, July 7, 2021. The chairman of the Social Democratic Front, SDF, was born on July 7, 1941 and clocks 80 this day. The Yaoundé International Agro-Business Exhibition has been officially declared open this July 7, 2021. The exhibition was finally officially opened by the Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Gabriel Dodo Ndoke, Special Representative of the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. John Gute. Thanks for being there. Do not go away. At 8 p.m. Desiree Mbune will be coming with news in the French language. Have a blessed evening in the company of our programs.